More primarchs. Another primarch for another little orc. This little orc is surprisingly more discerning but less picky. So he wanted specific things with this model, like he wanted the big, angel helmet thing, which I was excited to paint the Tywin Lannister looking head, but he really wanted that winged helmet for example, and then he is very specific on colors and stuff like that. So a little bit different than trying to copy the box art exactly, but very specific in what he needed, but less picky in execution. So I'm going to try to wow this little orc with a reasonable amount of time put in. So let's get into it. All right, bronze NMM. So I have a mix here for the contrast step. About 2 parts of the Gryph-hound orange to 1 part of the Mournfang brown. So I just slapped that all over. As you'll see in the caption, it took me about 3 hours to do all the contrast on this model, or express paint, as you'll see. So I'm just starting with a mix of Scrag brown and ice yellow. I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going to place these first highlights. I'm going to lean a little bit more to the right side of this lion, get the brow, and then I'm just adding a little bit more ice yellow to the mix, and just finding the brighter spots, areas where I think the light would reflect the most. And I'm not 100% sure here where I'm putting everything down, but it just kind of makes sense. Try to do the highest point and then come back in with like a secondary reflection. So this is just slightly more ice yellow, just decreasing that area. A little overloaded on the brush here, so I gotta fix that real quick. Yep, there we go. And just little dots, little highlights here, just trying to fill it out. Probably about 50-50 here with ice yellow and Scrag brown. A little heavy there. Just trying to get under that eyebrow, or that cheekbone, I should say. Just dot those highlights here on his mane. Trying to push those up, just slowly tease them out. So you can see here, this color is a little bit brighter than I would think I would normally blend into it, but part of what makes metal look like metal is how bright it goes from, or how much contrast you have from dark to light. So as I'm looking at it, I can see that these dark spots need to be pushed up. So I cut little lines on the underside of that cheekbone and the under part of that jowl, I guess. Here I'm just nearly all ice yellow, just a hint of that Scrag brown. Just trying to push those highlights, just dot the brightest points. Another thing here with these complicated designs, I'll say, like this lion, is you still want to try to honor the shape where the light would fall across the whole surface, but then still plan each individual step or each individual piece. So each of these little parts of the mane, you have to hit them, but you want to closely follow the main shape of the highlight. So might be kind of scary, or might be intimidated by it at first, but you just kind of play with it and keep adjusting it a little bit, you can get something that looks pretty close to metal here. Now the last step after I placed all these highlights is I'm going to knock it back a little bit, or add some depth with violet. I use Chimera Violet here. It's a really dark purple. Just kind of push those shadows in a little bit more. And I'll just speed this up real quick, but you can see how I highlight the trim. First step is I just try to outline each side of the trim. This is big, thick trim on the line here, so it's easy to get both sides. And then I just kind of block in bands, like you can see there. Just little bands of light to where I can have a bigger highlight. And again, just push those highlights up, adding more and more ice yellow. Hit the bigger bands, and then you can see here that I just do little spots of like hot spots in dark areas, especially in the trim. It's really easy to just really make it look like metal. You just hit those dark spots. And here is the finished shoulder pad. As you can see, about 40 minutes to just get all this. Let's say it reads pretty well like metal. Green armor time. So I didn't use Dark Angel's green. I used this intense express color monastic green, and I just throw it on top here and see a little bit how you should apply contrast like paints over flat surfaces. Just flood the area, dot it out, and then let it dry. This is after one coat. It's not nearly dark enough for my liking, so here's a second coat. Yeah, much better starting point. Now, I don't know if you're like me, but this shin guard is the coolest part of this model. I don't know what it is. It almost feels like the focal point. So I wanted to do something a little extra on here. Maybe do it like a non-metallic metal. In general, whenever I paint Space Marines, I just want to do more highly reflective effects. I don't like just doing edge highlights, but anywho, I'm going to try to make this look a little extra special than other parts potentially. So I'm using phthalo green from Chimera and then just adding ice yellow. And as you look at this, it's more of a minty color. Does not look like the rest of that monastic green. I wish I could say I did this on purpose, but I'm just powering through. I didn't want to try to find the perfect color or anything here. I know the phthalo green is a rich color and the ice yellow makes it pop, so I'm just gonna place these highlights where I want to, doing a more fine edge highlight here, getting the inside that initial color blocking I put down. I'm just going to be a little bit more sparing, go to the spots where I would think the light would catch most on these edges, just carefully drawing a little line and just making it even. My first highlight was intentionally more rough and blocky. I will come back in and bring it back with this monastic green color and just draw it back in, and also use some of that violet to kind of deepen the shadows here. I'm just carefully tracing these edges, doing a thinner edge highlight, using the side of the brush there, and all the edges. Like I said, I like to make Space Marine armor look more shiny or more like metal. So here I am with pure ice yellow, just dotting the bright spots, little pings of light, really making it pop. And I just can't help myself here. I want to do little hot spots in the dark areas. Just make it shine. Make it look like it's way more reflective than it probably should be. But again, this is the focal point of the whole model to me. Like I said, I'm going to come back in. This looks real minty to me. Does not look right. So I'm going to thin that monastic green down with some contrast medium. I'm going to selectively just draw or pull all the colors together. bring it more back to what I would think a Dark Angel's green should actually be. And this is going to blend everything in. This has a real good coverage or good even play. I'm not looking for any kind of water tide marks or anything like that, but just being careful with how I apply it, making sure I'm drawing the color towards where I want it to be, a little bit more in the shadow. And that looks pretty good. Let's see how it does when it's dry. And I'm too impatient for that. So it's still drying. I just got some pure ice yellow. I could see that it knocked it back a little bit too far, but no problem. Just do it again. Paying all these bright spots. This color does dry. That monastic green or the contrast medium, whatever, is slightly more glossy. We'll deal with that at a later stage, but here we are. All the armor is done. Just under 5 hours to do all this armor and make it all shiny, but I think this is time well spent. It's about a quarter of the total time I spent painting this. Now the sword. Oh, this sword. Let me tell you, this was not a fun experience for me. So I sped it up here, but I didn't take a shot of the colors. But this is Payne's Gray from Monument Hobbies with Ice Yellow just mixed in, and I'm a thin mix here, back and forth. I don't really have ratios. I'm just trying to look at the box art. There's some kind of wavy highlights in here I'm trying to emulate, and I am just throwing it down quick here, I guess. Trying to place it and then trying to smooth it out. I'm not liking this. I don't know what it is, what I'm doing wrong. If it's the paint consistency, it's what. So I'm just actually frustrated painting this here, and I don't recommend painting frustrated, but I thought the paint would be smoother, and I'm just rushing through it here. And so I decided to I'm just gonna hit these hot spots and I'll just knock it back and forth. Get a little bit brighter, try to blend it back, try to glaze it in, and it just looks like a blotchy mess. I'm not enjoying this at all. So in comes my friend the airbrush. To the left here you can see where it was, and then I just grabbed my airbrush, thinned it way down. It's like a mid-tone color, and I just glazed it back with the airbrush, and it just faded it. Now I'm happy again. Now life is good. I don't know what to tell you if you don't have an airbrush. This was so clutch. And of course now I'm terrified to go back to where I was. So I'm just very carefully, a little bit of ice yellow, just trying to tease out this brighter spots here. Yeah, just this little divot area. I'm just gonna pop that out a little bit. Just gonna do these few little bright spots here. Just trying to somewhat copy the box art. Kind of looking at what it looks like. Just dot it in a little bit. Just tease it back out. And I'm going to add some blue lightning effect to this. A little bit of, not lightning effect, but maybe glow effect. That's a better word. So I just want to get the brightest spots and a little bit of that dark. And I can just blend that in. And I come back again with the airbrush to do that glow effect. And here is the final result. Another tribute for a little orc, and about 20 hours total work. Like any paint project, you could spend 2-3 times as much time working on every little detail, but I would say I was shooting for simple but effective, going for high contrast and shiny surfaces, non-metallic metal, and I'd say I pulled it off pretty well. Another message here: if you mess up, just don't give up. Keep working on it. You'll get there in the end. If you like this video, Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.